Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Christmas One-Shot, Winter's Gifting, written by Random 3X. December 25th, year 024, Angel's Descent. The class sat in the dorm's communal area, enjoying the early morning of winter gifting. The Winter Solstice Festival, where they exchanged gifts and celebrate a year gone by. As they animatedly discussed the year that had gone by, they couldn't help but touch on the mad events they had gone through. Everything, from the raid on their classroom, meeting the combinal of the theocracy, and even the interclass war. They collectively sighed in relief, having survived the year, and raised a glass of grape juice in toast as a few of their number felt the presence approaching the dorm building itself. Stepping into the main hall was Annex, accompanied by Frecky, who had grown to the size of a full-grown wolf in the past year. Riding on her back, as had become the norm, was Addison, who was now looking around the dorm in wonder. Spotting the class where they were sitting, Alex waved to them as he approached, all while Frecky and Addison began galloping around the dorm building. "Hey kids, happy winter's gifting," Alex said with a cheery wave.
"You too, sir,"
Maxwell replied. "You here to wish us a happy winter's gifting?" Tasha asked. "Kind of. Allie wanted to speak with the other kindergartners."
"About what, if I may ask, sir?" Maxwell asked.
"Well, we're having a winter's gifting party," Alex explained as he looked over his shoulder to see the trio of kids running alongside Frecky. "Looks like they almost found everyone," he muttered with a warm grin before turning back to the class. "So kids, you want to join?"
"At your winter's gifting party?" Daisy asked. "Aren't they meant to be family and close friends?"
"Daisy, surely by now you would know I consider you kids like family. I just felt like you kids are all far from home. You might want to spend your winter's gifting with your family away from family."
"Sir, I'd be happy to join you,"
Klein replied as he rose up and stood next to Alex. "Did I forget to mention Bee will be there? Her family set off on a demon hunt, so she's crashing at our place till the new year." At this added information, Gunter rose without a moment's hesitation, only pausing once to grab a small amount of mistletoe.
"I'm not sure. Since the Cardinal left, my father has told me not to make things worse by being near your outside lessons."
"Maxwell, that wasn't your fault. He had it coming," Alex replied, clenching his fist tightly. Maxwell, though, still looked hesitant to join his teacher. "Tasha, you want to join? Melissa will be there," Alex asked, trying to tempt the elf.
"I've overcome these issues, sir, but I will join if at least to meet your baby,"
Tasha replied, rising up and joining the assembled group. "What about you, Daisy? The little ones have been missing you." Daisy was still visibly hesitating despite his urging. "Think of it like this. If you are still hesitating, you can be your little brother's chaperone. Families should be together, especially after all that's happened to yours." Daisy's lower lip trembled a little at memory, only for her to harden her resolve and realize wallowing in misery won't get her anywhere. Rising up, she joined the rest of the class, leaving Maxwell the only holdout. "Maxwell, you sure I can't convince you to come?" Alex asked one final time.
"Sorry, sir. I will abide by my house arrest. I won't leave on my own volition," Maxwell replied.
"Okay, gotcha," Alex replied with a salute as he marched to Gunther and Tasha. Can one of you kids kidnap him for me? He can't help it if one of the physically strongest students, alongside the most physically imposing student, kidnaps him. Especially, it was under the orders of the Lord Defender of the Western Arm," Alex said with a mischievous grin.
"Wait!"
Maxwell tried to protest, retreating from the assembled class, only to be swept off his feet and carried in a princess carry by Tasha. "Don't worry, I got you. You won't get away from me this time," Tasha said with a teasing smile. With him picked up, the class turned to step out, only to be met by the exhausted-looking Frecky, being chased by a swarm of children.
"Is that Icarus?"
Daisy asked, observing some of the children who were new arrivals for the start of next year. "Yeah, remember he was still starting this year coming. He probably is also already making friends," Alex said with a grin as he stepped between the swarm of kids and glared at them. "Okay, kids, that's enough. You are scaring Frecky with your chasing. Icarus, Olivia, Jacob, Cesius, Lucas, and Zapparus, front and center." At Alex's drill sergeant voice, the kids all scattered, minus the names he had called. Kneeling down so that he was in their height, he held a hand up to his mouth to whisper something to them. Whatever it was he said to them, they all cheered and began following Frecky out in a calm pace as Allison herself decided to dismount, looking rather pale from motion sickness. Making their way across the campus to the tower at the far end of the school that overlooked the Bay of Hermanus. This, they all knew, was Alex's private residence on the school grounds, the place where he and his wife Alyssa lived. Despite the class's knowledge this was where he lived, the tower was more urban legend amongst the rest of the student body. Countless rumors of mages who approached it disappearing, or rumors of mad mage performing insane experiments were abound. The class knew that only 2 of these were accurate. Walking up to the door, Alex knocked and announced his arrival. "I'm home!" Alex shouted as he opened the door, only for a mechanical boot to swing down from above the doorframe and almost hit him in the stomach, only for him to move back at the last second. "You! I have kids with me!" "Oh, damn! You should have opened with that!" You shouted back. Can you two not be so loud you'll wake?" Alyssa began, before letting out a massive yawn. Just looking at her, they all could see dark bags under her eyes, no doubt still recovering from the recently given birth. "No, please, Lissy. We could have the whole 5th Fleet march through here and not cause a stir in the nursery," Mimi replied to the exhausted elf while chuckling. "I don't mean for the baby," Alyssa began before lowering her head and letting out a quiet buzzing. Did she fall asleep standing up?" Daisy asked, with a curious tilt to her head. "Yeah, a weird trick she learned when she was a kid," Alex explained, as he gestured to open the hall for the kids to make themselves at home. "So, those are your friends?" Mimi asked Allison, who was closely trailed by the rest of the kindergarten class. Allison, though, just nodded in response. "Which one of you is Zapparus?" Zapparus raised her hand nervously at the unintended pressure Mimi was releasing. "Come here," Mimi firmly asked, leaving no room for denial. Zapparus approached Mimi, looking nervous, before she took over her expression, and Mimi embraced her in a big hug. "Thank you for rescuing my little girl earlier this year. If it weren't for you, Allie might have gotten hurt," Mimi said as she released the stunned Zapparus. "Zappy is my best friend, Mum," Allison said in a whisper, trying to free her friend from her mother's tight grasp. "I got gifts for you kids," Mimi said with a bright smile as she spun around in her seat and brought out a box. Opening the box, she began taking out weapons and handing them to the kids. "Cassius, I got you a spear," she said, handing the weapon to the boy. "You, Zapparus, you got a crossbow. Perfect weapon for someone who likes the ceiling," she said, handing the girl the weapon. "Olivia, I got you a real princess's weapon," Mimi said as she reached into the box and took out a battle axe, bigger than she was. "The princess's weapon?" Olivia asked as she nearly buckled under the weight of the weapon. "Yes, Princess Alyssa over there practiced with them all the time before she got the artifact-grade weapon for my baby brother," Mimi replied with a grin. "Lucas, I asked your mum, Rosie, what to get you, and she suggested this," Mimi said as she took out a flail from the box. "Be careful swinging that around. Jacob, for you I got this," Mimi said as she sank her arm far deeper into the box than should have been possible. Withdrawing her hand, she had a small dagger. Jacob, though, looked visibly disappointed at the gift, before forcing on a polite smile. "This here is a toy Alex there made for me when I was about 13, Mimi explained, as she held out the knife to Jacob, handle out. "This one, you can channel mana into the stones to shoot a pre-inscribed spell. They won't be powerful, but I read in one of Allie's letters that you struggle with projection magic. I was the same way, so don't worry if you focus on enhancing magic," Mimi said as she closed his hand around the weapon. "Excuse me, but is it wise to give kids weapons?" Daisy asked, looking at her brother worried. "It should be fine. They are going to start real combat training with the elementary school of the academy starting next year," Mimi reassured her. "So they would have needed weapons eventually. In this case, we got it sorted before any other kids. Now for all of you, Allie." Mimi reached deep into the box, and when she withdrew her hand, there was only a book in it. "I know you are more like your uncle than a shooty magician, so I got you a book of the Octogram archives full of spells for you to learn," Mimi explained, handing the book to her daughter. Allison beamed with a big grin and embraced her mother gratefully for the gift. "Yo, there you are, you big lug," Bee shouted as she walked out in one of Yu's battle suits. "Bee, why are you in one of those suits?" Tasha asked. "You said that it would help me get intimate," Bee replied as she stepped up to Gunther and let the suit's handle hold up a bundle of mistletoe above their head. "I thought the same thing," Gunther replied as he held out his own bundle. The pair blushed as they shared a kiss, while the kindergartners all made grossed-out noises. "Find a seat, guys. Alyssa prepared an epic meal for us," Alex said, gesturing to a table in the side room.
"I see how it is. You make your wife cook despite only just giving birth?" Daisy asked while trying to wrestle a knife from Jacob's hand. No, kids. Alex is genuinely the worst cook alive. He has an imperial seal preventing him from cooking."
"You serious?" Bee asked, stifling a giggle.
"Last time he tried to cook, he was arrested under suspicion of producing a chemical weapon," Bew answered.
The class looked at Alex for confirmation, only to see him avoid eye contact. "Arrest is a strong word. I was questioned by the State Security Bureau. I wasn't arrested."
"Wow, had the same thing happen to me as well," Mimi added, looking at Alex with a grin.
"Yeah, we're both atrocious at cooking. Though we did build up a decent toxin resistance by the time we joined the elementals. You guys go get settled. I'll go get her to bed," Alex said, as he gently picked Alyssa up and carried her upstairs. A few minutes passed where the class could hear the distinctive cries of a baby on the floor above, only for a sweet melodic music to begin to play. The class recognized it as the Rozoic's Palquid Cloud music playing. "Yo, kids, nice to see ya." Hadeen boomed from entered with a big platter of food. "Rosie's upstairs helping out, so she'll be down in a few minutes." "Where's Alex?" Hadeen asked, looking around.
"Alyssa fell asleep standing up, so he's putting her to bed," Maxwell explained.
"Ah, fair enough. He'll probably get Rosie down, so..." Nadine began before being tackled by Lucas. "Hey, son," Nadine said, as he put the platter down on the table and began ruffling Lucas's hair. A few minutes passed as Nadine, with the help of Bee in her suit, carried out the rest of the winter's gifting feast. When it was all out, Alex and Rosaic stepped into the dining room in a heated debate.
"I don't understand why you named your firstborn after little you."
"Rosie, I've explained this multiple times already. We played around with blood contracts. Me and Alyssa were compelled," Alex replied with an exhausted sigh.
"Honey, you sigh like that, and you'll let all the happiness out,"
Rosaic warned as she licked her thumb and smudged it against his cheek to clear the smudge of something. "How can I lose any happiness? I got my family all under one roof for winter's gifting," Alex refuted as he lifted a wine glass to toast. "Here's to a greater year without woes and worries." Everyone sat at the table, clinked their glasses in response. "Now, guys, let's dig in. My family have big rule when it comes to winter's gifting, and as I consider you lot family, I expect you to follow," Alex announced as he looked at the assembled faces. "Eat till you're full, drink till you're in a haze, and welcome tomorrow with a smile. Happy winter's gifting." End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.